Hey there everybody, Matt Carter here.
And Jessica Carter from CARTERMATT.com.
This video is our reaction to For Life Episode 2 that just aired on ABC. And I gotta say, I'm really digging this show now that we're 2 episodes in.
Yeah, this second episode set things up really well. Like, the first episode gave us a little bit of foundation, but this really set it.
Yeah, and I know that there's going to be sort of a case of the week element. I mean, we've all watched TV before. We've seen plenty of these sort of stories. But what I like about the sort of people who are involved in all of this is I think no matter where we're going with almost any inmate that is involved in one of Aaron's cases, there's a humanity to them that sort of gives you a fuller picture of who they are and why they became who they are. But we're going to break all that down. We'll talk about what's going on with his attempts to get those valuable case files that, Aaron Wallace so desperately needs. But before we dive into anything here, if you like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any other updates. Can we just start with this? How good is Nikolas Pinic in this role? I really think he is one of the selling points to the show right now.
Oh, he is. I had not seen him in anything before this show. He was great in the first episode.
Yeah.
He is so good in this role.
Yeah.
I absolutely love him.
Yeah.
The casting in general is really good. That whole scene with his daughter in the courtroom crying just broke me. She is incredible.
Yeah, and I like the fact that he is, he's an underdog, but he's also a fighter. He's not somebody who's going to just stand by and let people try to screw them over. I think, this Maskins character is like the perfect sort of like smarmy bad guy who, technically is in the, quote unquote good guy position, and he's trying to leverage himself to get to this greater power.
Yep.
And I think he sees, Aaron as this problem that's standing in his way, rather than an actual human being who, by the way, is probably smarter and better than he is.
Well, especially since it seems like there were some things, obviously, that were done to Aaron, of why Aaron is in there and he is innocent, and all of this is being covered up because he's a bad dude.
Yeah, Maskins is the worst. Like,
yeah, he really is.
Like, he really, well, this I think is going to be sort of the central question mark with this show is, how long do you continue to let someone who's just a tool like Maskins continue to have as much power as he does before you start to let Aaron have some real wins? Because, him being in prison is a big part of the premise of the show. But can you really keep him in prison forever without it seeming like, okay, we're doing kind of the same thing we've done every other episode? It's a struggle.
It is, but we are only 2 episodes in. We did have him have a win in the first episode. He had a loss in this episode, which is what I wanted to see.
Yeah.
And it's not because I want to see Aaron lose.
No, yeah.
But he just became a lawyer. I want to see him have that struggle that everybody has when they first start any profession, where there are stumbling blocks. You don't know how the game is played. You have to find your own sort of footing in this new career and what's going on. And I think that he's going to, but I just want it to be a much more sort of slow ride into this, where we are going to see him have these struggles, have these losses, because I think it's going to make this an overall stronger show.
And I think that balance is really important because it does sort of show you the highs and lows of who he is, and also how he bounces back from adversity, because it's these losses, not to sound too much like I'm reading like a quote book, but like it's these losses better help us understand the victories, like they help us understand the wins. And the basic foundation for everything is we've sort of seen the relationship between him and the warden established on the show now. And it's a very interesting back and forth. And Wallace is trying to find a way to sue the NYPD effectively because he knows they've got the police file. They've got the information that he believes is going to be the foundation for his future, which is, of course, outside of prison.
Yeah, and if he doesn't have that and he doesn't know exactly everything that's in there, then he is going to have a harder time proving his own case of why he's innocent, and to actually be able to unravel some of the nonsense that they've clearly put in there to get him in jail in the first place.
And, what is Haskins and company going to do after their initial bout of nonsense? More nonsense, as it turns out, because that's what made that court scene so heartbreaking in a lot of ways. You see the work that Aaron Wallace is putting in, and then you see him there. It's not what he planned. All of the information is pretty much redacted. The people he wanted to be there are not there.
And I know that he was obviously very happy to see his daughter there, but I actually just felt like her being there was not just breaking me, but breaking him apart, and that some of his focus was not where it needed to be.
I can't imagine being in that position, so
No.
I understand why it had to be just impossibly difficult for him to concentrate, to focus on what was there. She wanted to support him, but I think there's also probably a part of him is, okay, do I want to do this or do I want to do that in front of my daughter? And how is she feeling about all this? Like, this is complicated.
It is, and that's why that whole scene, we met Ronnie, who is the father of his daughter's son-to-be.
Yeah.
And he is tremendous. I've also never seen this actor before. He is tremendous. I loved him. I loved that he just told it like it was at the end of this whole thing and was just like, just so you know, she didn't not go to California because of me or because of what's going on. It's because of you. She's trekking out pregnant up there all the time, this 5-hour drive to see you, to have this relationship, and she's putting her life on hold for you. And it was... It was a conversation that I can't imagine was easy for Ronnie to actually have. He's met him one time.
Yeah.
But it tells me and it shows me how much he really loves her and that he wants her to have the best life possible. Ronnie and Aaron are on the same page. They want her to have the absolute best life. That's why his reaction to it was exactly what I was hoping it would be, which is... yeah, you're right. Make sure she stays on track.
And what an arc, I think, for Ronnie in this episode. Because, I mean, he starts off not even really knowing the truth about Aaron, to then going up there and meeting, the father of your pregnant girlfriend. And that's already going to lead to all sorts of questions. And then, he's behind bars. There's a situation that unfolds in front of him.
Yeah, that whole scene where Aaron's just kind of like, you don't even bother with that. And Ryan's just like, I don't even know what I just watched.
It is a lot for him to take in. And then to just have, the guts to then confront Aaron on the phone about all this. And I think Aaron actually respects him a lot more for it, because Aaron, he wants the best for Jasmine too, right? Like, he wants her to be happy and successful and to get everything in life. And so... And
not everyone is being honest with him. So it is kind of interesting that the person who has decided to be honest with him is someone he's just met.
Yeah, and I'm sure this is probably something that does happen for people in Aaron's situation in real life, where some people want to sort of apply bubble wrap to certain aspects of the outside, because they're going through a lot, right?
He's got a lot going on. He does not necessarily need this on top of it, especially since he is in prison. He is unable to help right now, and he's not really able to... Yeah, he's not really able to help. What is he going to do?
Yeah, and the good thing for Aaron is this guy's resilient. He didn't get what he wanted tonight, but he made it clear to the warden at the end. He's not giving up. I feel like he probably anticipated some things going awry, though he may not have necessarily a full-on counter. It is nice, by the way, though, that we're seeing that he has some support that's out there in the world with Roswell, which, is not just about aliens. It's also this dude who is, very responsible for helping Aaron get off the ground.
Yep.
I like this guy. I want to know more about this guy.
Yeah, he's very interesting. Even just his place, everything about him was very interesting. I like that he's also unafraid to talk to the press and sort of get it out there. He's willing to stand up as well and stir the pot. And just that idea that he was sort of once sort of on this other side to now being like, listen, I've opened my eyes and I've seen that what we're doing is wrong. Like, maybe someday you will too.
I really appreciate him backing up the bus on Maskins. That was, I was like, all right, Roswell, you do you, man. I'm on your team. And, I I'm into that character. I'm really into a lot of characters on this show, and I think this is the most important thing with a show like For Life, because we can talk here for 10 minutes about, the main characters, the story arc, what's going on, but sometimes with a lot of these shows, then the case of the week just kind of is like, all right, well, this happened, and we're not going to remember it. But I think the case of the week was legitimately really good and interesting. This case of Joey Knox, who is this guy who's obviously a part of a group of people no one wants anything to do with.
Nope.
And yet, here is Wallace, who finds himself indebted to take on this case, and, we realize that there's a lot more going on with Knox than first meets the eye.
Yeah, but after he helped him, I still liked that Aaron was like, listen, even though you didn't really want to be part of this, those tattoos still mean something, so...
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, I like the fact that that in the midst of everything else and sort of peeking into this person's humanity, it doesn't still change that this person has done what they've done, and they got the tattoos, and it's unflinching in a way, and I think it's realistic in showing the different shades of people, but also still you are defined by your actions. These are some of his actions.
Yeah, and it's still so crazy to me that this is just like on network TV, and that this isn't like a sort of more cable show or somewhere where they are finding a way to still keep this show be procedural, and every week you're gonna have a story, but also still be kind of edgy and feel truthful.
Yeah, it doesn't feel corny. Like I don't find myself sitting here being like, okay, this is a prison, there needs to be more cursing, there needs to be more blood, like all these sort of things you just kind of expect in sort of these stereotypical TV prisons. But I think it's because they have sort of the attitudes of certain people that are downright, whether it be guys like Aaron, whether it be sort of the negligent prison employees who aren't always doing their job properly, or these other people who are clearly very troubled or running things and orchestrate deals. Like, they all feel authentic. It doesn't feel cheesy. It doesn't feel watered down.
No, it doesn't feel cheesy at all. And I was a little bit worried because it's on network that maybe some of it would get a little bit watered down. But they have found a way to make it feel authentic.
Well, before we say goodbye to this video, let's talk briefly about episode 3 and some of the things we know. Aaron's not giving up. You guys know that already. The police file is still going to have a major role to play.
Yep.
He's still going to be doing what he can to get it.
He needs it.
Maskins, he's doing some dirty tricks. It seems as though now he's going to try to find some more information and then leverage it over on Marie, and then basically be like, this is the sort of stuff that could come back to hurt you, and then I'm kind of just believing hurt Jasmine on some level.
Yeah, I mean, he's threatening her.
Yeah, he's threatening Aaron's family, which is just another reminder, this guy's the worst. He's supposed to be one of the good guys.
And that's what's so good about this show, is that we do have this guy. We know that he's innocent, and he's in prison for this crime that he didn't commit, but he's still the prisoner, and this guy is supposed to be sort of the law keeper, and he is the worst.
Yeah, so I think we're going to be in for a good season. After the first episode, I'm always kind of uncertain because it's sort of like, is it a one-hit wonder?
Pilots are tricky.
Yeah, but now that we're 2 episodes in, I really get the sense of direction with it, where we're going with For Life. I'm really digging it. I hope you guys are. Let us know what you think of episode 2 in the comments, and if you do like this video, give us a like and subscribe to the channel, and if you do want to support us more, check out that link in the description to the CARTERMATT store, and we'll see you here next time.